Can everybody hear me? Real good. Amen. What a wonderful lesson. When you think of the scope of how God can seemingly put pieces to the puzzle together to accommodate and to bring together his divine plan. The people of Israel have been in oppression in the land of Egypt. 450 years they have been oppressed. They have been in distress. They are promised people, but they find themselves not so much privileged people any longer. And that is because situations have changed in the nation. If you journey back through the scope of this particular people, the peculiar people that they were resting on the laurels of past promises. They were a people who were accustomed to God's goodness and favor. They had become numerous. They had become to a place where they can enjoy the good things of God. But how many of you know that that season of their lives was to change because of situations? To accommodate his plan and purpose, God orchestrates deliverance through a deliverer. And there's always a deliverer for the situations that we're going through, because God is always preparing what we're about to go through in the midst of while we're going through it. Let's see, can I fix this picture and put it to where we can get it? In other words, God is already in your situation, and he's ahead of your situation, because God, who orchestrates the night, created the day, which means he's already ahead of what we're going through. In other words, there is God-like provisions in the situation, because God has already created the situation that you're going through. He's on the other side waiting on you. And he knows exactly what you need, when you need it, how you need it. And he accompanies this mission to accompany his plan of deliverance through a man called a deliverer. I need to stop, Mount Moriah, and tell you, while I pause and park in your driveway, that some of the greatest gifts that God gives us are not coming out of the air, are not showering in your bank account. They're walking on 2 feet. And you need to celebrate God for the people that he placed in your life. You need to celebrate God for the leaders in your life. You need to celebrate God that he has sent you some people to get you out of your situation. How many of you know that it's a good thing to know that we serve a God who is both providing deliverance and the deliverer all at the same time? He prepares this man in what we would say is some unseemly circumstances. His birth narrative is not heralded to be a great one. There's drama in his birth. His mama has to ship him down the water side to save his life. You can see the picture. His beginnings are not all that great. He's not born with the silver spoon, but God puts him in the silver spoon. He ships him down the lake to be raised in the palace. I'm trying to help somebody. That the God we serve has orchestrated the life of this man, whom he's going to call some 40 years later to be his deliverer. The circumstances are not all that great, because when you read this narrative, it shows us how great strangers can be to sometimes in the life that we live. It's funny that sometimes we get love from strangers. Can I talk for about just about 2 seconds? It's amazing that this woman who happens to be on the other side of the oppression, she is privileged, treats him who is unprivileged like he's privileged. And I'm not the sharpest thorn on the cactus bush, but how many of you know that it's amazing that he may not look like them, he may not talk like them, but he's raised in the house to be with them, which helps us to understand we got to be careful how we treat people that don't look like us, dress like us, smell like us. I don't care how much privilege we have. We still need to be careful on how we treat those who don't have privilege. Am I talking real good? Have I got a witness? We see a stranger picks this baby up, takes this baby in, and raises him. All the while, God has orchestrated the pieces to this puzzle to fit together better than the jigsaw. Here it is. Strange situation down the lake, picked up by one who she's going to work for. I don't know about you, but it shouted me that she still had the opportunity to raise her baby, although she sent them down the lake. Isn't our God amazing that somehow, some way, even in our painful struggles, he is working the thing for our better? What she thought she was losing, she still had an opportunity to be in his life. And that's news for somebody this morning. While you beating yourself up over not being there like you should, you need to be careful and thank God that he still orchestrates the right path for you to be in their lives. I'm talking about the old days when mama would have so many children that auntie couldn't have no children. She would ship the baby off to the auntie who couldn't have children. And somebody knows what I'm talking about. Don't you beat yourself up because of that situation. That was godly ordained to happen so that you could be a blessing in the midst of their struggle. I just don't know what the young lady's predicament is. I don't know if she couldn't have children or not, but we do know that she picked this baby up and she treated him. She served him and raised him. Watch this. I heard Deacon Hilliard say it upstairs. In love. He didn't know he was different. Watch this. Until he got grown. Am I right about it? He didn't know the difference between the Pharaoh's house and his mama's house until he got grown. Which starts us, here it is, which pushes us as a church and community to address something that these young men are facing today. Can I push it? I call it a spiritual identity crisis. Once he realized that he was not like them, it caused something in him. And he found himself awkward, causing him to protect one of his own. And we know how that story goes. He's shipped away, he runs away. But in his birth narrative, don't miss this, although he's privileged, and although he's raised in a better situation than he would have been, there was something still missing in his life. I want to pause and look right at the screen to my virtual sanctuary and tell all the missing in action fathers that you have a responsibility to make sure your sons and daughters knows their identity, because the DNA travels through the man, and that is one of the problems we have. They don't know who they are. Have I got a witness? And because they don't know who they are and whose they are following people that they don't even know their name. They follow young Jesus, but that's not his name. They follow young boy, but that's not his name. Until we get to the point, my brothers and sisters, church, that we can make sure that our children know their name, we're going to continually find ourselves in this missing identity crisis. The grass withers, the flowers indeed do fade. The word of our God does last forever. What you say about me? Oh.